once spent an evening with my wife outside of our cabin, resting on a blanket, staring out at the stars, watching as the moon made its slow and lazy circuit through the sky. That day was one of the happiest days of my life. I felt my twin sons kicking within her belly, and my eldest, Mara, only a few years old, slept within the cottage. I remember far too well. I remember the way she smiled. Oh, to be the one she smiled at. To hear her soft laugh. It was as though the world had found a way to tell me that all was well when I heard that laugh. Alea had a favorite saying, one that she would use for most of her life in times of trouble. To be loved by the one you love dearest, there is no greater prize. I did not realize until after she died how truly great that prize was. Happy is the man to find that for himself.
She was a beautiful person, Loen. Her loss will last for the remainder of your life. For that, nothing can atone. And for that, I am deeply sorry.
Did you know that Wayland had already planned his life out? There was a lass in town, a year or two younger. Talia, I believe her name was. If Wayland had his way, he would have married her as soon as he had built a cottage next to mine. He planned to have 4 children, raise crops, and grow old on this farm. He planned to bury me here with Alea when the time came. Mattis wished to be a doctor of some sort or other. He brought home herbs and was working to determine their properties. I believe in some way he had hoped Alea would live long enough that he could cure her. Mara. Oh, Mara. What have I done? Mara was too much like her mother. In her movements, in her smiles. It hurt to be around her and remember her mother with that smile. Even before Alea died. Even then, Mara was a reminder of what I was losing. I never had the moment to make that up to her. I would praise her from afar, but I was not the loving and caring father I should have been. To any of them, but especially her. When I found out that Alea was doomed, I stepped away, and Mara became the bulwark for our family, caring for her mother, mending clothes, providing meals, and cleaning, while having to reckon with her mother's death on her own. What have I done? Mara, what have I done?
Loen, there's nothing I can say. No words, no power to bring back the dead. There's no redress that can return what was lost. But you made the first step in preventing further pain.
Is that enough? How can I simply move on with my life?
How can you not? Loen, were you to end it now, you may think that the number of those that would miss you is few enough. But think of the consequences. The ones that hear of it think with pity on the man that ended everything, because he thought his life had ended already.
Pity is something sorely lacking in my present company.
If pity is what you sought, you should have chosen better allies.
It's not too late to still seek vengeance.
Be silent, scholar. Your traitorous nature tells me either you're unaware of the threat you've joined yourself to, or you are a far more nefarious character than I've so far assumed you to be. You should pray to be the former. Either way, your position as a scholar of Euro gives me very little influence on how you shall be treated. Every word you speak that does not respect the Moonmaster lends credence to his wish for a painful death.
I am not sorry for allying with a man so injuriously wronged by him. Any man that can support him, knowing what he has done, is not worthy to call themselves honorable.
Inside the Inn of the Red Circle, Loen, Rhiala, Riolor, Fiona, and the Master of War sat. Gone was Legend's black armor and large greatsword. Instead, he seemed unassuming, a thin, wiry young man with streaks of crimson running through his otherwise black hair.
Your intentions may have been pure, but not the actions. Stay silent unless I call upon you.
What is the plan now?
Euro is to make an appearance before the Council of Elders. There, I will level charges of a 5th and 6th nature against him.
What does that mean?
It means that Euro's actions rippled out in a manner that could have caused an incursion. That is one of the most dire situations to put a world into.
Oi, Warmaker. They aren't going to understand it, so shut it.
While your intent was clear, Fiona, perhaps your attitude could be slightly less challenging.
Don't mind his mood on the matter. He likes it when I treat him like a village idiot. It makes him feel human.
I was referring to Loen? What is he to do? You cannot expect him to simply leave him here and pay for a few nights' stay. His family, home, livelihood are all destroyed.
I do not know. I find myself at a loss to determine possible redress. Money would seem like the best offering, but does not seem to encapsulate the depth and breadth of loss. I will think on these things.
Not long could he think on these things. A disturbance was taking place in his realm. Legend sensed it and looked to Fiona.
Fiona, I've been summoned away. I leave you with the coin to secure lodging for this group for the night. I do not know how long I shall be away, but after 2 days, should I still be gone, take them to Winlaven.
Legend rose from the table with these words and placed both hands flat upon it. Gold coins began to rise to the surface of the table, as though floating to the top of a pond. Legend made his way outdoors. Fiona glanced at the party and shrugged apologetically, rising and following after him. Outside, he turned and faced her.
How bad is it, Legend?
Euro has decided to pay me a visit, and I have a very good idea of what he wishes to do to me.
Swords and stones, Legend. Must you answer his bait?
I would not if I could avoid it, but he's within the forge already. There are secrets in there he must not uncover.
Come back safely.
In a flash of brilliant silver light, like the glint of the sun upon a sword, Legend disappeared. I had been busy, plotting how best to resolve this situation in a way that would benefit myself. To achieve this, I had spent most of the night gathering my followers and providing them with Loen's location. But so long as Legend was there was nothing they could do. The resolution was simple. Legend would need to leave. As soon as Loen and his friends were all dead, I would be safe. Legend could be controlled, of that I was certain. Each essence has a home, a hole carved into reality that they called their own. Legends looked the centre of a blacksmith's forge, hence its name, the Forge. I smiled at Legend as he appeared within his realm. Legend, old friend, how goes it trying to undo my mess?
You care little for the reparations, Euro. You only seek to avoid the consequences the others will level at you. What do you need that you must travel into my realm to irritate me?
I am here to ask you once again to consider my side of this conflict. A mere human has insulted me. That cannot be allowed. As travellers and watchers, overseers of these realms, we are worthy of more respect.
Euro, stop. Stop this stupidity. You are not innocent. You traveled to a small town, murdered innocents, attacked a fellow essence when he attempted to intervene, then traveled to a widower's home, surprised him with threats, and murdered his entire family because he did not respect you enough. In what universe would any in my position spare you from reaping what you have sown?
If this is your intent, I cannot stop you, but I can prevent Loen from being a greater threat to atone for my mistake.
No.
Legend, he is sworn to another. He can never be allowed to return to his life. Sardis will do what he can to prevent this man from returning home. Loen is already stronger, faster, and growing in power. He murdered my followers with ease. Do you really think that attempting to recompense this man would be enough to end this? Sardis will chase this man in dreams. His hooks are in Loen. He will find ways to enforce his will, even should Loen be sincere in abandoning this current quest.
Then what? Euro, this does not give us the freedom to murder the man. He is not innocent and should face the judgment of men, but not yours.
That is all I ask. I wish for his actions to be weighed by men. We both know his punishment for said actions. They will execute him.
They will execute him, Euro. Not you. Not in some means to hide your crimes.
Then let me atone for my crimes. I will end Loen's life now. He can join his family. I will end the threat he poses and resolve the very ripple I created. You and I both know that the others would find it acceptable.
Why should he suffer more for what you did than you will, you infernal skunk?
You and I both know there are few options available.
I will think on this. Leave me. We will discuss this later.
It is not something fit to discuss later, legend. We shall discuss this now.
This would give you freedom. This would allow you to walk away from your crimes with no punishment. I cannot allow that.
Better that than to let this world fall, legend. My patience grows thin. Legend had enough. Crossing his arms together, a glowing barrier of light surrounded me.
Leave me. Do not return to my realm without my invitation. We shall discuss this later.
Thus I found myself removed from Legend's realm. I stared at the sky, barely containing the hatred I felt. Never again shall a god of war tell me not to strike. I had billions of followers. Even in the city of Devin, I had numbers in the tens of thousands. I stretched my influence into these churches where my congregants were, where poor, foolish people worshipped me, a false god. My presence stunned them all as I appeared in their midst. My faithful, my young, my old, I come before you to give you direction. I have a task that must be completed by one of my own. I caused lights from the torches to coalesce in the center of the church, creating an approximation of Loen's face. Behold, the face of my enemy, a man with the desire to strike down your master. I call upon every able-bodied man to stand for what he believes in, and end this terror before it is too late. He resides in Devin even now, at the Inn of the Red Circle. Like wildfire, the words of Euro spread through the town. My followers were filled with righteous fury at the thought of one so evil, so close to their homes. Our friends at the inn had no idea of the danger that approached. Loen lay in his bed attempting to sleep, while Rhiala, Fiona and Riolor remained at their table in a gloomy silence. Riolor had been quiet since they arrived.
I suppose we should better acquaint ourselves, given that we know so little. Scholar, tell us your tale.
I have no wish to think further on my past than needed.
No, I'm curious as well. What could bring a scholar serving the Moonmaster to conspire for his destruction? Legend has told me of many of Euro's failings, but I understand that Euro was also well respected by those that followed him. Once you joined his following, he would care after you, providing food and other necessities at his churches, buying loyalty.
Suffice to say, I was made aware of some of the failings of the Master of the Moon. Firstly, the knowledge that Euro is not a god, that none of these beings are.
You speak of beings such as Legend, but who else?
That is another reason. This world of ours, Dialis as we call it, is home to what is believed to be at least two others. They call themselves essences. These beings aren't gods, though they pretend to be. Why do the others not reveal themselves and pretend as well? What secrets do they hide from us?
Your point is well made, but I do not believe them to be antagonistic for the most part.
So having one murder a man's family for refusing worship does not constitute cause for us to defend ourselves?
I promise you, Legend will keep him in check.
You speak too quickly in their defense. But if Legend had done what you said he would, wouldn't Loen's family still be alive?
I know, Legend. He did what he could.
And it wasn't enough. So why not stand up for ourselves?
Because Uro is the lesser of two evils. He was the last resort to spare us from the Sunmaster. I understand your fears, but I promise you that we do not want to see a world where he is set free to create chaos.
How comforting. But should we all be in danger, you have but to call for your savior, Legend, to come and take you away.
He is not a savior. He is a friend.
Really? A friend? Would we truly be free from all the troubles we are in because he is your friend?
I am not free or safe. I am in more danger than you know, because I have revealed myself as an ally to him. He cannot intervene in matters that do not pertain to the workings of other essences directly, such as Uro. Should a follower of Uro make the decision to kill me, unless he were directly told to do so by Uro, Legend cannot intervene. I gain no safety from his friendship.
But how did you become his friend? Legend might not be a true god, but he does have worshippers. So how did he choose you to be a friend?
He just did. Can it not be left at that?
Absolutely not. You pushed to know my reasons, so now I demand yours.
Agreed. Oblige us with your tale.
It is not the same, and it is not important.
I would disagree. It is entirely the same. Tell us, Fiona.
Aye. Tell us.
Legend found me at the edge of a cliff. He found me. I was broken. I had buried my brother and his family. I had no one. And he found me. He didn't stop me. He didn't beg me to reconsider. He just offered to buy me a drink. I slapped him for that. He asked again. He had no reason, but he chose to be kind. And for that, I would travel to the ends of this planet for him. He is why I know that there are good ones among them.
I see it clearly now. Legend was far better than I. Had I merely stayed out of the way, I would have seen that. Instead, I invited chaos into our home, and he and I would both pay the price. Loen's eyes opened to dazzling splendor, scorching heat and a being of pure light staring down at him.
What arrogance is this, Stalric? We had an agreement. I demand it to be kept.
Much has happened since our agreement, Master. I find myself unable to carry out your bidding.
You must think I'll release you so easily. Loen, I shall not. You swore to aid me, and I swore to you you would have vengeance on Uro. You shall complete the task I have set. Find me and free me, or I shall torment you in ways you cannot possibly imagine.
I have nothing else you can take from me. I tried and failed, but I can do no more.
Loen! Their promises are many and worthless. I have made you but one promise, and I shall keep it. But you must as well, or you shall face the consequences. I will make you relive every memory of your children's death, or I shall help you recall Alea's. Then, when I have finished, perhaps I shall show you 1,000 ways you could have prevented it.
Just let me die. Please.
Death is a reward, not a gift. As such, it will be earned. Do not try to take your life. I shall not allow it tonight.
What am I to do? I cannot complete this quest, even if I should wish to.
With enough anger, you could bring the city down. Do not assume less of the power I have given you. Take advantage of it and strike. Uro will not sit idly by and let you gain what vain redresses legend seeks. He will seek to intervene, to end your life, and that of your allies.
Should he prove himself unfaithful, I shall stand against him, but I have no other resort.
I keep my offer for an hour. Anything beyond that, and I will do far worse. Rethink yourself, Loen.
Our party in the inn had been quiet since Fiona's outburst. In the lull of conversation, a young man seated himself next to the party. He wore an oddly striped cloak of dark blue and gold, and at his side was a lute cast in silver. He looked at the party.
Pardon me, but have you any coin for a song?
None for you. I'd sooner pay you to leave us.
Use whatever excuse you care for. If I get paid, I shall take it. Might I be so bold as to ask your name, sir?
There will be no answer should you ask.
Then perhaps one of the young ladies here would care to allow me to play on her behalf.
Fiona. I am called Fiona.
That is beautiful, Fiona. I offer my condolences for your loss, and applaud you for remaining strong in your final days.
What does that mean, stranger?
For that answer, you must pay.
Ignore him. He's a con man that merely seeks to enrich himself off our foolishness.
But Fiona's curiosity was aroused, and she placed a small copper ulmer in his hand. He bowed and tousled his hair as he walked to the stage-like platform for minstrels and bards to perform.
What did your words mean?
The lady paid for a song, and a song she shall have. Then I shall tell her the meaning.
Laddies, come gather, I'll tell you a story. I speak of a man with the world in his hands. Laddies, surround me, I'll paint you a picture of the one that has doomed us to fall to time's sands. Before the grave's entrance, forever he'll be. The war calls out to him, his own death to see. Don't call him a monster, but heed his commands. This is the man with the world in his hands. He forged iron shackles, he held back the tempest. The sands of the hourglass he holds at bay. And now he stands tall to the world, makes his calling. For what is held now will not long hold his sway. Before the grave's entrance, forever he'll stand. The war whispers secrets, his end close at hand. Don't call him a savior, follow his plans. This is the man with the world in his hands. But now to this monster I follow his calling. I take up the blade as I charge into war. I fear it's too late, we are fallen to fate. But call for his help, he shall heed us once more.
Many have studied the effect of music on people, and many more will, and yet they will never be able to truly understand the sway music and words can have. But when this man finished his song, the tavern remained silent. He bowed and stepped away. There was no applause. The audience simply resumed their drinks as though they had never been there. The minstrel merely bowed to the oblivious crowd and made his way back to the trio.
I owe the lady an explanation, I believe.
I would say so. How do you know what I have lost?
The how is unimportant. In less than a day's time, you shall answer the call. You will despise yourself for the way you die, and you will curse the one that stops your heart. But you cannot escape the grave by running.
Ugh. Con men always preach suffering and pain before revealing the cure to all woes.
Death does not have a cure. It does not respect intention or strength. I cannot cure what I have no knowledge of. I merely bid you stay strong and stay the course. And when the man with the world in his hands offers you life, take it.
Riolor stood up, interposing between the minstrel and Fiona.
You've spent far too long traveling the land and telling your tales, my friend. Tell them somewhere else and buy a drink on me.
Before you go, what is your name?
I don't think I've had one of those in a few thousand years. But you may call me Fae Folimus.
You?
Me? Thank you for handling Adalia. She had grown problematic. Give Mia my greetings. Tell her to stay away from this. It will not change what will happen, but it is the least I can do.
I will certainly not. And you still owe me for Idalia.
Another time, I fear. I do not have the means to recompense you for it at the moment. Besides, Adalia is still alive.
And then he was gone, his body simply ceasing to exist as though he'd never been there. A minstrel he was not, that much had been made clear, but his words and song would remain with the group for years to come.
I have had enough of these fools with more power than they deserve, speaking riddles they believe we should comprehend.
Was he a harbinger, perhaps? One foretelling another's arrival?
I have no interest in finding out who he precedes if that is the case. I do not wish to remain here if one already knows where we are.
I'm inclined to agree. We should gather our things and rouse Loen.
Where is this blasphemer? The one that seeks the end of our protector? Where is the Moonmaster's would-be killer?
In Loen's mind, the suffering stopped. His master reappeared.
What further proof do you need, servants? Euro and Legend prove their unfaithfulness by sending their lackeys to do their dirty work. Awaken and prove my words true.
Loen awoke. Pain shot through every sinew as he arose. He heard the commotion downstairs as Euro's zealot sought him. He seized his sword and charged down the steps. A blade thudded into the wall beside him as he stepped into the chaos of the bottom floor. A young man rushed towards him with 2 small daggers. Calm flowed through Loen as he saw his assailant. He felt the power of his master flow through him and the heat began to grow. He stepped back as the man's daggers cut the air. Loen's sword hilt caved the skull in with ease. A second attacker jumped over the fallen fighter and engaged Loen. 1, 2, 3 strikes Loen parried. The fourth he caught in his bare hand, warmth and light covering the wound and healing it as he wrenched the blade away and stabbed it into the heart of its owner. The heat grew and Loen knew he needed to find a way to channel it. He found it in fighting. His allies were making their way towards the nearest exit, a back alley from the inn. Loen laid another man's throat open and carved the eyes out of a fourth attacker.
The blasphemer lives! Kill him!
And they tried. The volume of blood spilled showed the depth of their willingness, but by no means would it bring Loen's death. He cut through swathes like a beast of prey, his sword finding the best path to cut through the most men in one gesture. They were going to escape. They might even win. Leaving the inn and stepping into the street, Loen and his friends found themselves surrounded. Hundreds of Euro zealots and fanatics surrounded them. Loen's strength was destined to fail.
Master, I must have more power. Help me destroy those that would stop me.
Your promise was broken before, Loen. I am afraid my next bond shall be more punishing. Swear to me, on the lives of your friends, and your hope for vengeance, that you shall obey me in whatever I demand until your vengeance is satiated, or I am free.
I swore myself to one other in this life. She was taken, so I swore myself to my children. I swear with the same zeal that I had for them, I shall not rest, nor deviate again from this path until the god of the moon falls dead, or my master is free to cut him down.
Power, greater power flowed through Loen. As though he could burn from it, it flowed through him, as wisps of light began to leach from his body, illuminating him. Beyond the crowd of fanatics, 2 curious onlookers saw the surrounded party.
Soldiers, I see people in need. Make haste to intervene.
May I run before them, my lord? I can clear a path.
Miala, I believe you could do it alone. Please, clear away these scum.
And thus death called, and many answered. Nobleman Garill had arrived in the city, and immediately engaged the services of a mercenary, Miala Thistle, but she would not be needed.
I called for vengeance, and vengeance shall be mine. Face me, Lord of the Moon. Do not hide behind your followers. Do not make me the one that kills the mortals over pettiness today.
Beams of glowing light shone from Loen's hands. Like rays of the sun, they glowed with blinding power. And then he moved his hands towards his attackers. The screams were immediate. He closed his eyes to shut out the sight of what he had done. The light had no respect for persons, burning the strong and weak alike. It is still uncertain the number of people Loen slew in his attack. The number of fanatics would be estimated to be no more than 100, but Loen's beams of light cut through the nearby homes, destroying their foundations, caving in rafters over the heads of the unfortunate. The closest with certainty that any have said is near 300. The inn itself collapsed and fell into other buildings, blooming into a terrible inferno. I lack the ability to truly look down at Loen's callous murder, though I wish with every fibre of my being that I could. My longing is so great to be absolved of the sins I have accrued that I find myself in despair. Loen opened his eyes.
Loen, what did you...
What was that? Loen?
Death. Death everywhere. The bodies burnt, severed, ashes, some still screaming in pain, some still begging for aid. Wives for husbands, mothers for their children, and children for their mothers. Some bodies had burned so perfectly that all that remained were blackened bones. The light faded slowly from Loen's hands.
Brace yourself, servants. Here he comes.
In a twinkle of light, Euro appeared in the centre of this death. He surveyed the bodies of the dead that he had sent, needlessly and hopelessly after this man.
Blind fools, though I had hoped they would kill you in their death. Loen Stalric, we meet again. Are you ready to serve me now in your life, or serve me by the loss of it?
They were not worthy of the space their bodies leave on the pavement. Euro, let us see if you fare any better, Nightkeeper.
Sardis, you have succeeded.
Not yet, but soon.
No further, Loen. You shall pay for your transgressions against me.
My anger and pride blinded me to Loen as he ran towards me, arms extended and fingers splayed. The light of 1,000 suns struck me, and for the first time in many centuries I felt pain. True pain. Pain that gnawed at me. Pain that felt as though I had been dealt a mortal wound. People saw their god be struck by a mortal and fall to his knees. I was humiliated, terrified, and awestruck. I spat blood from my mouth as I knelt on the ground. Loen stood over me.
For Alea! Waylon! Mattis! And Mara!
That was when I fled. I sliced my finger through the ground beneath me, cutting through space and time, dropping through and returning to my home. I was alive, and that was all that mattered. Loen was powerful, but he did not understand the power he held. He could not do what I had done, and so he could not follow me.
Servant, remember your path, find the weapon, and set me free.
Loen returned from his vengeful thoughts and actions, and back to the present. Fiona looked horrified and regretful. Rhiala looked pained and would not meet his eyes. Riolor was vomiting. Then he saw the nobleman and his party, raising his hands preparing for another battle. He felt weak, too weak to do anything. His head spun, the fire inside went out. He fell to the ground. Rhiala, Riolor, and Fiona ran towards him.
He is too spent to continue. He needs rest.
No. will not do. We need to run.
That is not necessary, friends. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Nobleman Bartholomew Garill. I have been sent to bring him to his destination. He can rest along the way.
Then how do you know what his destination is?
Our scholar friend should know the way. Riolor. Where do we go?
I know which mountain, but I do not know the way inside.
The mountain will suffice for now.
We shall not provide it for you. None that truly know of what the Sun Temple hides should ever want the being trapped within it set free.
Mount Vorin. The Sun Temple most likely resides in Mount Vorin.
Riolor, none can know this. Surely you understand what resides there.
I know all too well, but they have taken my family, and I dare not say otherwise.
Do you truly believe that whatever leaves that mountain will let them live?
He has sworn to me that they shall live on, even if I die on this mission.
Proof is needed, scholar. I shall send word to release them immediately, but I must have proof.
The proof I author is in the Sorathin, my rough translation of the 5th stanza. For why should the dead remain in their sunken state? Why should the wicked never make their way back to the gate? Why should the shattered mountain hide the church of broken light? Within, without, one day shall return to fight. In Leorin, the name Shattered translates as Vorin. Many have believed Mount Vorin to be the Sun Temple's resting place before and have visited, never able to find it. I would need access to the original Sorathin document to confirm this truth.
I know where it is kept. Come prove your intellect, and you shall be free.
For many years, none had known where the original prophecy known as the Sorathin was. Many had sought it, few had lived to speak of it. Yet now a certain creature made of shadow, one that wore the shroud of death like simple clothing, and one devoted in service to the Master of the Sun, knew of its location. The one that had killed the true Nobleman Garill at his mansion 4 days earlier. How unfortunate. Rhiala stepped closer to Garill's carriage, meeting the mercenary that he had hired with a firm handshake.
Good to see you, friend.
I wish I had not, knowing now who you have allied yourself to.
You are not the only one. He's gone too far. I'm glad you're here.
Is this the friend you spoke of, Miala?
Indeed. Rhiala Nerin, the quickest blade I know.
I suppose it is fitting, then, for you to accompany us on this mission, if that is your desire.
Rhiala stared at Garill for a few moments. There was an odd energy in the air as they sized each other up.
I would speak with Miala before I make a decision.
I would not force this on you. Take your time. Unfortunately, Lady Fiona Herwood does not have the option.
Fiona's mind returned to the words spoken by Fae Folimus, warning of her death, but she could do nothing now. She nodded acquiescence to Garill's words.
Since when would you serve a noble?
Because it was one of the very few jobs available that would give me an excuse to stay within Devin for longer. What is this chaos you've pulled me into?
When we met, we had no memory of our lives before and built our own. But our friend Loen, he remembers his old life while no others do, and seeks vengeance on Euro, the Moon Master. He has made a deal with one known as the Sun Master and now travels to find a weapon to kill Euro.
I haven't the faculties at the moment to process that, and I believe you know it too. However, I think we could do worse than stay with him and prevent further chaos. Garill is not one to trifle with, but his plans seem too large for a simple nobleman. I think that we should best put a stop to this.
Very well, but I warn you, this seems to be worse than any other debacles we have found ourselves in before. Your terms are acceptable, Nobleman Garill. If you could have some of your men transfer Loen to your carriage to rest, we shall travel with you until we have completed this quest.
A minstrel, attired with odd gold and blue clothing, turned and walked away from the scene. He had seen enough, and he knew what would come next. Garill would take Loen and travel to Mount Vorin. Rhiala, Miala, and Fiona would hatch a plan. They would establish a signal to give to put an end to this. He knew that in approximately 2 hours' time, Legend would return to this chaos and travel to visit Euro to learn what had happened, where the two would recognise that this had gone too far. He would not participate. The threat to this world was grave, but if the one from which he hid saw him adjacent to any of these events, something far worse than the Lord of the Sun would bring about the end to everything in this world. There is always a greater evil. For one man, the greatest evil is the missing friends and neighbours. For another, it is the one that kills his family. The minstrel did not care whether Sardis returned or not. There was a greater threat, and he had to make sure that this world, and many others, were ready for the end.